Okay. Okay, so if you're ready, let's head on back to the mat. Roll out your mat. Get comfy, get cozy. See there, you can see me okay. Close this guy here. All right, and we'll find our way down to the floor. Kind of resume the usual beginning posture.
Okay.
Perhaps finding a pillow underneath the hips. Getting a little bit of elevation here, allowing the pelvis to tilt forward, creating a little more space in the front body. Option to sit cross-legged or to extend your feet in front of you, whatever feels comfortable for you today. Allowing the hands to rest gently on the tops of your knees or gently in your lap or with palms open, exploring what feels and resonates best with you today. And once you've found this posture, this opportunity for stillness, I invite you to close your eyes. With eyes closed, we might begin to tune into our internal landscape. Just doing a bit of a weather check. How is the weather system of your being today? Are you feeling sunny with a chance of showers? Perhaps foggy. Perhaps you see blue sky on the horizon. Just noticing for yourself without judgment, becoming curious about where you are at right now. As we check in with this tenderness, let us soften our awareness to the breath. To the gentle, easy ebb and flow in and out of this life force that is breath. For the last few moments of our stillness practice, let us introduce grounding breath, which is equal parts inhale to exhale, and then we'll slowly begin to elongate our exhale. So wherever you are in your breath cycle, I invite you to exhale completely, and we'll begin to breathe in together for 1, 2, 3, pause. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Allow your breath to return to its natural cycle. Perhaps noticing a sense of groundedness, connection, simply a sense of ease. then slowly, as you're ready, we might begin to blink the eyes open as we begin to flow with our breath. So on your next inhale, lift the fingertips high in the sky. Fingers come to touch. Perhaps gaze comes up. As you exhale, sending fingertips, palms pressing down into the air, down to the mat, perhaps gaze comes down. Inhale to lift the palms up. Perhaps the gaze comes up as well. Exhale to bring fingertips down towards the mat. Gaze comes down. Option to flow here with your breath for the next 3 cycles. 2. And 1. And plant the palms on the tops of the thighs as we rest here for a few seated cat-cows. So as you inhale, bring the belly forward, tilt the pelvis forward as we lift the chest. You can lift the gaze up to where the ceiling meets the wall. Exhale to round the spine, tilting the pelvis, drawing chin to chest. Hopefully beginning to wake up the spine to work out all of those kinks. Moving mindfully, pausing where you want to pause with your breath. Continuing at your own cycle, at your own pace for the next 3 breaths. Gesundheit. For 2. And 1. As we come back through center, we can bring the right fingertips down to the mat. Inhale to lift the left fingertips high. As we exhale, planting the right palm down, arcing over towards the right. Option here for gaze to be straight ahead or down at the mat or up towards the ceiling. You might notice what feels good for you. But making sure that both sitting bones are grounded down into the mat equally. With your next exhale, allow that top palm to come down to the mat. Pausing here with head heavy. Perhaps walking the fingertips out a little further. Getting into the back body here, stretching out from the hips, from the pelvis. And we'll slowly begin to walk our fingertips out in front of us. Option here to round the spine down, allow the chin to come towards the chest. Allow the weight of the head really to begin to stretch out the muscles in the back body. Option to come down to elbows, or to stay pressed up on fingertips. Just finding whatever feels good for you this morning. Breathing into the back body here. And then as you're ready, using our fingertips to press into the mat to support us, we can slowly begin to roll up the spine, articulating one vertebrae at a time, coming up to a nice tall seat. We can walk our fingertips back and behind us, coming just off the mat as we open up the chest, drawing shoulder blades towards one another. You might lift the gaze just slightly here as well. So we open the front body. And the counter posture to our forward fold. Opening up here. As you exhale, coming back through center, as we plant left palm down on the mat, inhale to lift right arm up, and exhale to arc over to the left. And noticing both hips are grounded down, both sitting bones are still in contact with the earth. Softening right shoulder down and away from right ear. Exploring your gaze and what feels good for your body today. We're here for one more breath. And then as you're ready, bringing right palm down to the mat. You can walk the fingertips out just a little bit, noticing a bit of a stretch from the right hip. Stretching out the lower back body, allowing the head to be heavy here. Just finding your appropriate edge. Breathing into places that might seem tight. And then as you're ready, we'll slowly walk the fingertips back out in front of us here. And allowing the head to be heavy. Still tilting the pelvis here forward. It's almost like we're taking the cat posture here as well. Drawing chin to chest. Really actively stretching the back body. With an inhale, lift the chest. Elongating the back body. Exhale to round back down. And then slowly pressing our fingertips into the mat, we'll begin to roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. All right, as we're ready, inhale to lift the arms up. As we exhale, we'll draw navel to spine, beginning to twist over towards the right. So really important that we're just moving from the core area, so from the belly button. Option to bring your left fingertips down to right knee as we swing the right fingertips back and behind us. And final option to allow gaze to go over the right shoulder. So with each inhale, we're growing taller here, and with each exhale, we're softening into the twist. Option to rest that left fingertip on left knee as well, which is a bit more of an open variation. As you're ready, drawing navel to spine as we exhale, coming back through center. As you're ready, inhale, lifting the arms back up as we engage the core, twisting this time to the left, finding your variation of fingertips. And allowing the gaze to come over the left shoulder. Noticing that your mobility and range of motion might feel different from one side to the other. Breathing deeply into the body. And with each exhale, softening into the twist. And then slowly, as you're ready, engaging the belly button as we come back through to center. So just one more posture here, I suppose, before we move on. So I invite you to extend your right fingertips out in front, so exposing the palm. We're going to take our left fingers and wrap them around the right thumb, and as we inhale, just draw the thumb back just slightly, and exhale to release. Giving ourselves a little hand massage. Next, moving to the index fingers, squeezing back as we inhale, and exhale to release. Coming to the middle finger, ring finger, and to the pinky. We all spend so much time on the computer, so giving our fingers a little love, maybe rolling the wrist one direction, and then moving it the opposite direction. As we move over to the left fingertips extending, so palm comes forward, bringing the right fingers over and around to wrap around the thumb. Inhale to draw back, and exhale to release. Moving to index. And then close your eyes here, middle finger, release, ring finger. And last but not least, our little pinkies. Beautiful. Taking a moment to do circles one direction with the wrist. And then reversing that the opposite way. Awesome. You can shake that out. If you like, you can remove any pillows or props from underneath you as we find our way to tabletop position. Pausing for a moment with palms underneath shoulders and knees underneath hips. Tops of the feet are pressing into the mat as we find a nice elongation from tailbone all the way to the crown here. So the chin is slightly tucked. As you're ready, inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze, pressing fingertips into the mat as we open the chest here, looking up. Exhale to round the back body here, pressing into the mat, including the shins, pressing everything down and away. So we round the back and inhale to elongate, dropping the belly, lifting up through the fingers, pressing into the mat. Exhale to round. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale, dropping the belly. Exhaling to round. Coming back through center here. And as you're ready, as you exhale, looking over to the right hip. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, having a look over at the left hip. And coming back through center. One more time on each side, once to the right. And back. And then to the left. And back. Beautiful. As your fingers are pressing down into the mat, shift your weight into the left palm as you inhale, lifting the right, expanding up, lifting that hand high in the sky. As you exhale, we're going to weave that right finger down through, bringing our shoulder and our cheek down to the mat. Thread the needle here. Option to extend left fingertips high towards the short edge of the mat, the top edge of the mat. Pausing here, noticing if the hips are uneven, drawing one hip crease back to try to square the hips. We're here for one more breath. And then as you're ready, we'll bring the left fingertips back under the shoulder. Inhale to lift up and away, lifting the right fingertips up. And exhale to plant them back down as we move over to the left. So inhale, lifting those left fingertips up. And exhale to loop them down and under, bringing left shoulder, left cheek down to the mat. Extending right fingertips. Option, if it feels good. Squaring the hips, drawing the sitting bones back. As we connect with the breath. Here for one more breath. And And then as you're ready, bringing the right fingertips back under right shoulder, pressing into the mat as we inhale to lift left fingertips back up. Then exhale to lower and plant the palms. We begin to walk the palms out in front of us, about a foot or two. And then as you're ready, we're going to send the hips back. So coming into puppy posture. So we're bringing our chest down towards the mat. Shoulders are pressing down in towards the mat as well. Our head can rest, like our forehead can rest on the mat. Stretching out the back body. You should feel really nice for shoulder opening as well. Option to bring your chin to the mat. Just breathing here and settling in. Noticing that this is a type of inversion, which our heart or our head is below our heart. And anytime we come into a posture where our head is below our heart, it can often signal to the nervous system that it's okay to rest. It might help us with a sense of calm. As you're ready, we'll begin to press the palms into the mat, lifting back up and through, coming to hands and knees once more, tabletop position, tucking the toes. As you're ready, we're going to engage the core, lifting the knees up and off the mat a few inches. Hovering here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the knees, bringing the toes to touch and sending knees as wide as the mat as we send the sitting bones back towards the heels. You can soften your forehead down towards the mat. You can rest your forehead on your palms, stacked palms or stacked fists. Softening into the hips here. Breathing in to fill the back body, and with each exhale, softening and letting go, surrendering down towards the mat. We're here for one more breath. And then as you're ready, we're going to come back through to tabletop position. We're going to tuck our toes, perhaps broaden the stance of the palms just slightly, bringing them forward and out. As we begin to shift the hips back in space with knees bent generously, drawing one heel down towards the mat at a time as we pedal out our downward facing dog. Pressing index finger and thumb into the mat, which can help to alleviate some of the pressure on the wrists. Just noticing, shaking your head yes and no, noticing if there's any tension that you're holding. Once you feel you've pedaled out your dog, perhaps you can find some stillness and hold here for the next 3 breath cycles. With your next inhale, lift the right leg up and behind you. You're going to bend that top knee to open up the hip. So lifting the right knee up towards the ceiling. And then with your next exhale, drawing that right knee in towards the nose as we hop or plant or shimmy shake that right foot in between our palms. Finding our low lunge here, opening up the hips. So we inhale, lifting up and off the fingertips to broaden the chest. Exhale to plant the palms. Sinking a little lower down into the hip. Slowly begin to heel toe that right foot out to the edge of the mat, turning the toes out at a 45-degree angle. Finding a bit of a lizard variation here. Option to lower the back knee at any time, untuck the toe, or option to stay lifted. Really opening up the hip here this morning. If you'd like, you can come down to your elbows. You can come down to a block or a pillow. Or option to stay lifted on palms or fingertips. You might rock a little back and forward here. Just noticing the sensation of the hips as we open them up here a little. We're here for 3 more breaths. And then as you're ready with planted palms, we're going to step those right toes back to meet the left. Finding plank pose, option to lower the knees. Option to come down to forearms. As we hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. As you're ready, bringing toes together, knees as wide as the mat, sending the hips back, giving the wrists a break here for a moment, and back into child's pose. You might even begin to notice in child's pose how the right hip might feel a little different than the left does. Just from that hip opener. We're here for 1 more breath. And then as you're ready, we'll transition back through tabletop, tucking the toes, finding the posture for our hands, planting them as we send the hips back once more, finding downward facing dog. We're here for 3 breaths. And as you're ready, we'll extend the left leg behind us, bending the left knee, lifting that left knee open to the left side. So opening the hip here. And then as you exhale, drawing that left knee in towards the nose, rounding the back body. As we then step that left foot or shimmy shake, grab and plant. Place that foot in between the palms. Option to lower the back knee. So we press our fingertips into the mat, lifting the chest. And exhale to kind of round back down. We're going to begin to walk the left foot out. Walking it out to the outside edge of the mat. Again, it's at a 45-degree angle here. Option to lower the back knee. So we come into this lizard variation here. So if you lower the back knee, untuck the toes as well. You can come down to your forearms, down to a pillow or a block. You can begin to open up the left hip. You're noticing any resistance or friction. What is it like to send your breath there? Okay, for 1 more breath. And then as you're ready, coming back up onto your palms, tucking the toes to lift that back knee, As we bring left toes back to meet the right, finding our variation of plank pose here. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the knees as wide as the mat, sending the hips back, coming to child's pose. Pausing here to notice the sensations of the hips. Now that we've spent a little time opening both hips, you notice any difference? We're here for one more breath. And as you're ready, you begin to press up onto the hands here. Bring the knees in together as we tuck the toes. Gonna shift our weight into the back heels. And begin to stand so we can keep the knees bent generously as we come into a standing forward fold at the back of the mat. So option to have hands on the thighs or on the shins or on the mat. Knees can be bent generously as we bring chest towards the thighs. We might shake the head yes or no. It's becoming heavy here. Option to clasp opposite elbows. If elbows are clasped, this would be a good time to release them. And then we'll slowly begin to roll up. So keeping the hands and the head heavy as the last things that will come up. Rolling through the lower back, the lumbar spine, thoracic spine, where our ribs join. All the way up and through the neck. You might loop the shoulders back and around, finding a nice tall posture that resembles a mountain, Tadasana. Noticing our feet grounded into the floor. We might even shift our weight a little left and right, front and back, to notice that point where our weight is equally distributed across our feet. Noticing what it's like to come from that place of grounding. As though nobody could knock us over. Roots growing deeply into the ground as we grow tall. As you're ready, we can bring our hands to our hips here. We're going to step forward with our right foot, coming into a high lunge. Pausing here as we inhale, lifting the arms up. As you exhale, planting the left palm down as we twist open to the right. As you exhale, planting that right palm down. As we step the back toes towards the front. So bringing the left toes to meet the right here. Standing forward fold. Shaking the head out, yes and no. And as you're ready, anchoring the heels and the balls of the feet into the mat as we inhale, looping the arms up and around. Palms come to touch above head. Exhale, palms down through heart center. Coming back into that Tadasana, mountain pose. Awesome. So from here, we're going to step the right toes back, coming into our high lunge on the opposite side. Doing a little yoga lumosity for us today. Inhale, lifting the arms up. And as you're ready, exhale, we're gonna plant the right palm down as we twist open to the left. It's really drawing energy out of the back toes as well, keeping both legs engaged as we draw the thighs towards one another. Beautiful. Exhale to plant that left palm. So we're gonna step the left toes back to meet the right. One last plank pose this morning. Drawing navel to spine, we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the knees. We might cross the ankles as we shift our weight back, coming onto our buttocks. Finding a nice tall seat with legs bent at 90 degrees in front of us. Inhale to grow nice and tall. We're going to extend our fingertips out in front of us as we shift back and engage the core. Option to lift the feet up and off the floor. So engaging the thighs, drawing them towards one another. Finding strength here as we send the fingertips towards the toes. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job planting those feet down as we slowly make our way down to our backs for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Let's bring our knees in, squeezing the knees in here. One last opportunity to really work out any kinks in the back, perhaps rocking side to side across the sacrum, the lower back here. You might even explore rocking back and forth. Just finding for you what form of rocking and playing feels good for you. Remembering this is your practice, your body. And as you're ready, squeeze the knees in. As you exhale, allow the knees to fall over to one side. Being mindful that both shoulders are still grounded on the mat, finding either cactus arms or a T variation. You might even cast your gaze in the opposite direction of your knees. Inhaling, and on your next exhale, squeezing the knees back through center. And as you exhale, allowing the knees to fall over to the opposite side. Finding your variation of arms and gaze. With your next exhale, drawing knees in towards the chest. Option to extend hands and feet towards the ceiling for 5 breaths. Or option to come into your final resting posture, whether that's on your back or your side, or perhaps even a nice tall seat. If you are extended in waterfall, you begin to extend on the mat and allow your hands to rest gently beside the body. Just pressing pause for one more moment this morning before you head on to the next part of your day. to honor and acknowledge the time that you've carved out to be with your breath, to be with your body, and to be with community. Slowly, as you're ready, if you choose, you might begin to find your way back up, perhaps rolling to one side, and slowly making your way back up to a nice tall seat. With eyes open or closed, I invite you to explore a gesture of some form or gesture of completion that feels good to you. Perhaps it's something that you've seen in a previous yoga class, or something that just signifies to your body, to your mind, the end of your practice. And you might seal that final gesture with 3 conscious breaths. My friends, as always, it is my honor and privilege to be your guide in this practice. Thank you so much for being here today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope to see you soon. If you'd like to stick around to chat, please do. Otherwise, I hope you have a really wonderful day.